Did you hear the news? It's now October. No, it's November. What are you, silly or something? October's over. That's what we're here to discuss. We've got to reflect on October 2025 content and looking forward to November 2025 content. Now, does that even make sense? Content and looking forward to November 20... I guess that makes sense. It would be funny if 10 months in we figured out that our titular statement here was all fucked up. And it's storming outside, chat, so if you hear that, you never do, it's never fun, but it would be funny. Anyway, scripted videos, can you believe it? We had 2 scripted videos that came out in October of 2025. I thought it was 1 until I started making this PowerPoint. I forgot that the Footy ENT video, that, just got like 3,000 views, no biggie, was actually this month, so that's crazy. Indeed, the eve of Broncos redemption, in brackets, ellipses, in brackets, 2025 NRL Grand Final on the Footy ENT channel did come out in October. I think it was like October the 2nd, so we're getting it in before the grand final happened, and then the grand final happened and I got a bunch of retroactive views, so that's pretty cool. And they did indeed win, so everybody's just so excited and happy for these shitty Broncos. But also, we had a real video, the strong silent type of The Sopranos, which was not the original name and has changed a few times on the Kyle Entertainment channel. This one was not as successful, however, and makes me very sad, even though I did 3 thumbnails for it. Can you believe that? I ended the test early because, nothing was working, and I made the Svetlana one the main one, which was the one that was winning. So, I'm a genius. I also edited it. I brightened the image a little bit because, she's like in shadow and stuff. So how the fuck is it supposed to be good clickbait if she's in shadow? Because it's mysterious. You got to find out who it is? No. The people are too stupid. They don't remember the great Svetlana from The Sopranos. They don't know what the strong silent type is all about. Unbelievable. Anyway, my little recap of what we thought about these videos, because I did rewatch them today as I was putting this whole thing together. So, what did I say? The Broncos video is just a quick follow-up to my earlier popular Ben Hunt video meant to capitalize on potential views, and that it did. It is more popular than the original Ben Hunt video. It is the most popular video on the Footy ENT channel right now. It's probably like the 2nd or 3rd most popular video I've made this year. Did any video do good? Oh, yeah, that was the Dina video. I was going to say, did any video do good besides the Donald Duck one? I think most of them are at 1K now, except for the 2 Pokemon ones. No, the 3 Pokemon ones. But one of the Pokemon ones has 1K views, so we'll be going back to that well, and I don't want to hear otherwise. The Sopranos video... was both a good point. Hold on, we're moving on from that video so quickly. The Sopranos video was both a good point and something I thought had potential view-wise. I thought the point was there was no strong silent types in The Sopranos. It's what I thought the point of The Sopranos was, so it was mind-blowing to me on a rewatch that Svetlana was positioned as one in the titular episode, the episode called The Strong Silent Type. Can you believe it? I had never seen anybody talk about it, so I had to spread the word. That's true, this is something completely caught me off guard. You'd think this would be something people talked about all the time, but it's not about one of the boys, so the Sopranos fandom doesn't care, and it's not a retarded funny joke, so the Sopranos fandom doesn't care and never talks about it. Bunch of idiots. The execution was a little lazy in parts, and perhaps the structuring needed a bit of rearranging. I don't know about this. I wrote this before I actually rewatched the video because I was like, what did I think about this video? I thought the video was pretty good when I rewatched it. I remember being unhappy with it right after I uploaded it. I remember thinking I should have emphasized the point, which is something I usually think, which is probably something I should keep in mind to not fuck up for the next video. The Broncos video is kind of like that too. But you can kind of get the point, but it's kind of like a quick end to the point. And there's also like this thing I do where in the conclusion I make it about something else or like another step. Like in the Sopranos video, the video is just supposed to be about how Svetlana is the strong silent type, and she has this one line about how she says, people like me are meant to inspire people like you or whatever, and she says it condescendingly to Tony because she's handicapped, right? And she's like making fun of the fact that people who are able-bodied usually would say that, or like that's how they would like think they're helping handicapped people or whatever, when obviously it's a bit of an insult. They just don't understand because they don't have the perspective or whatever. And then I wanted to tie that into the strong silent type thing because it's sort of a double meaning. I don't know if I emphasized that point enough. And that was kind of the main point of the actual body of the video. But then at the end, I make it about how like, oh, and this is like reflective of like a larger thematic point about like, maybe The Sopranos is about people self-sabotaging so they can be sad. And isn't that what people do all the time? Interesting. Ponder that. ... And then there's like a final line that's about like, how that's kind of like what women do, right? But look, these men are doing it the same way. Isn't that interesting or something? And then there's also 2 other fake outs, because I now always have the fake out Patreon bit. I also have the fake out that Gary Cooper was gay bit. I don't know. I guess the ending of this video is a little messy. I guess I somewhat believe it could still get some views at some point. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating that it didn't. Sopranos videos usually get views out the arse, you know? Except for that other good one I made. But that other bad one I made has like 150k views or something, you know? Core and Grata and stuff. Anyway, it's a bit of a mystery. I still want to make a bunch of other Sopranos videos, so hopefully they are more successful. We'll have to see. Now, another big point here. Has anybody ever heard of a fella named Denji? This was the video I was supposed to make this month, but I was very lazy with it. But boy, do I have a surprise for you. Hold on, let me just minimize this. You know, I'm very scared, by the way, that we're going to cut out because I don't have enough battery, so let's keep an eye out for that. And if there's a cut at some point, that'll happen. But I'm undermining my big surprise here. Oh my god, there's a Denji video preview that's 4 minutes and 10 seconds long. Oh my god, let's play it. Oh, is everybody just so excited? It does exist, guys. It does exist. See, I told you this video exists. It happens. There's 4 minutes and 10 seconds of it already edited, kinda. The last, like, 30 seconds doesn't have any images yet. And the rest of it's unpolished, and there's just a black background because I haven't put a background in for everything but the first 4 seconds. But you know, it exists, guys. Let's listen. There seems to be constant frustration in parts of the Chainsaw Man fandom whenever Denji has another Kuma moment. Chapter 212 seemed to get the worst of it. Denji, who's got a severe history in being manipulated by the sexual and romantic promises of women, in this singular chapter switches allegiances from Asa/Yoru, who he's come into the chapter with an understanding with, to Fami Little D version because she inadvertently flashed him her panties recently, and then immediately switches allegiances again the very next scene to Fumiko when she offers him a nude Polaroid of herself if he agrees to do what she wants. This is a girl that's already pulled tricks like this on him before. It's not even that Denji doesn't realize what's happening to him. There is a constant self-awareness and acknowledgement from Denji, especially in part 2, to what's going on in these moments. That this has happened before countless times. But that doesn't seem to help old Denji not find himself in these scenarios. The fandom's frustration with Denji's lack of character development, his lack of an ability to learn from his previous experiences, over the course of the series seems to have bubbled to the surface following this chapter. This led to some even calling his constant falling back into these traps character regression, and further evidence that poor old Chainsaw Man had fallen off in part 2. Say it ain't so. I think these frustrations and that latter comment about character regression is derived from a particular misreading of Denji's character and of a series of events surrounding sex and love from the beginning of part 1. Early in Chainsaw Man, it falls upon the great and powerful Power to honor her word. She promised Denji that if he saved Meowie from the Bat Devil, she would let him touch her boobs. And our man Denji went out and did exactly that. And by the grace of God, congratulations is due. Denji, whose biggest goal in the manga up until this point was to touch some boobs, gets his wish granted. But afterwards, he finds himself feeling strangely despondent, unsatisfied even. Simply fondling some breasts turned out not to be so special after all. In a following scene, Makima notices the dejected Denji, and upon having the situation explained to her, brushes Denji's ear, nibbles on his finger a little, and Denji is so head over heels in love with this young lady that he literally falls off his chair. All because of some light teasing. The reading of these consecutive scenes by most leads to the thematic conclusion that touching random boobs, or what that represents, random sexual acts with strangers, are unfulfilling and ungratifying, and it is actually sexual acts with somebody you know and care about that we truly long for, that Denji truly longs for. Accordingly, Denji should have learned his lesson here, developed as a character, and we should have moved on from him getting pulled into these scenarios of being easily manipulated by vague sexual promises or implications from random female characters. All these many following examples of exactly that happening are regression on Denji's character development and useless comedic repetition. Do you like my straw man voice? I think it's pretty good. I don't entirely blame those who read these scenarios in succession this way. This is how traditional stories usually handle love, sexuality, and satisfaction, or how they usually handle want. Attempting to moralize and impart the virtuous thematic message, where a meaningful and loving experience or action is more worthwhile than a more lust-driven, hedonistic experience or action. Now, this moral virtuousness, of course, is rooted in unfounded societal monogamous axioms and sex-negative thinking, and is probably neither moral or virtuous. But nonetheless, this is how situations like this are usually viewed in polite society, handled in traditional stories, and thought about in traditional culture. There's a self-evident major problem here, though. Chainsaw Man is not a traditional story. THQ, it's in the name. Denji is not a traditional character. Character development and growing, learning moral lessons and virtue, is not becoming of him. He's not built for it. And that's what makes him and his manga so fucking special. Wow, what a great video preview. I had to mute my microphone, otherwise I would have been ad-libbing the whole time, and I think it would have pissed people off. But you know, I told you fellas, and all the ladies listening, of which there are many, I have it on good authority, that it was real. See? She? That's like how those old people say it. Anyway, hopefully that video and the rest, like 30 to 40 minutes of it, will be finished before the end of the month, and we'll be raking in the cash. We'll have to see. I have no fucking idea. This video is difficult, and it's confusing after that point. It's even confusing for that point. But I've set this introduction in stone now. I can't change it, right? I already edited it. You'd think. Or I could just abandon it and move on to a different video like I did with the Sopranos video this month. You never know. I'll see some short-term success on the horizon and I'll chase it, goddammit. I'll do what I want. Fuck you. Anyway, moving on to unscripted videos. There's no preview for this one, I'll tell you that much. 6 unscripted videos were uploaded to secondary ENT this month, which was the same as last month. That you can see by the little titty that's on the screen there. But there was one It's Me upload, and there were 2 ordinary RE appearances. Now, that's incredible. Now, it only says appearance there, but that's because I don't proofread this shit, because I'm lazy. There were Chainsaw Man chapter reviews, a monthly PowerPoint, a Steins Gate discussion with Jockey Bacon, a Superman/Fantastic Four discussion with Elite RE, a Sherlock Season 3 and Barbarian/Weapons discussion with Elite RE, and 1 Claymore discussion with Mia. My goodness, what a great discussion month we had. 2 Elite RE fucking movie discussions came out of nowhere. Can you believe it? How fun is that? To recap, part 1 of our Steins Gate series has come to an end. We'll see if we can finish that up by the end of the year. We've got the movie, which we'll do on its own, and then we've got 2 parts of Steins Gate 0. Can it happen in the next 2 months? Maybe, probably. Claymore might even be finished by the end of November. Though when I say things like that, they never happen. It's true. But, you know, me and Mia are recording that later this evening, and then there should only be 1 more after that we should even, you know. It is a longer one. We've done about 30 chapters each time, and it'll be 50 chapters or 60 chapters for the next one. So we'll see. We'll talk it over. Perhaps it's 3 more parts, and it'll be the beginning of December where Claymore finishes, but we'll have to see, okay? I'm in a bit of a movie mood recently, so we've got a few duo movie discussions that could come up. Like, we've got David Lynch that we're supposed to do, Blade Runner, which I forgot about, but Elite RE is probably still interested in. And then I floated the idea of doing old movies with Elite RE. And by old movies, I mean like movies from like the 40s or earlier, like black and white movies, because Elite RE's never seen one, and I think it would be funny. Now, I did watch, spoilers for the next tab, or the tab after the next tab, I did watch The Maltese Falcon, which is a pretty famous, like, 1941 movie. Humphrey Bogart, you know that fella? And it was basically a test run to see, should I show Elite RE this movie? But I kind of came to the conclusion that this one probably wouldn't win Elite RE over. The one that, the only other one I've seen Gaslight. Ooh, we're going backwards here. Stop spoiling what's going forwards, too. I've seen Gaslight, which is 1944, right? But obviously Casablanca, 1942. That would probably be the best of those movies that I think Elite RE would at least like a little bit, I think. But like, Maltese Falcon was too complicated for little Elite RE. He wouldn't like it. And Gaslight is just not exciting enough. And that's kind of the problem. I also thought at the beginning of Maltese Falcon that it was like, it's very dialogue and exposition heavy. In a good way. I like how they speak in these old movies, so I was liking it. But I'm like, this is not exciting enough for Elite RE to care about this movie. So maybe I'll hunt for some more, and try and rope Elite in that far. When I brought up old movies, Elite said, yeah, I've seen an old movie. I've seen 2001 A Space Odyssey, which is a late 60s movie, and he was trying to pretend that that was old. That was embarrassing when he said that to me. I promised you what actually happened. I just didn't record it, okay? But anyway, we'll see. We're going to hook him on old movies. We'll do it in, we'll give him Blade Runner for that. These Blade Runner movies, I don't want to watch this shit. But anyway, we did Star Wars at the beginning of the year, right? So we're supposed to do sci-fi things. So we got to keep. Can you believe Star Wars was this year? You wanna know what's crazy? Honora and Conclave was this year, and that feels like 2 years ago. But that was only like 7 months ago or something. So anyway, on the unscripted front, the Steins Gate, it's interesting. Because the first Steins Gate discussion was really fun and interesting. I think the second one was a little bit less fun. Probably because it was more, and this is something I've noticed, is that the second discussion, because this was also the second Claymore discussion, both of them immediately in the second one are very plot focused, where I guess your overall thoughts are already out there for like the first part. So now all that's really left is to comment on the plot. And I think that's a little bit less interesting. Now with Steins Gate also, it's like, oh, how did you feel about the ending is also like another piece of discussion, which me and Bacon were both a little sour on a little bit. I think, I came to a 9. I don't know what Bacon came to, but it's basically his equivalent of a 9, which might be a fucking 4 for all I know. I don't know, it's interesting. The Superman and Fantastic Four discussion, I thought that was going to be cool, and then I watched both movies, and I didn't care a single bit about either of them, so I went into that discussion like, I hope Alita Rhea has something to say about these fucking movies. And he kind of did. He liked Fantastic Four, which was kind of interesting. And somehow we still had 2 hours. We did 2 hours on it. Sherlock Season 3 was fun. They're usually fun to do. They're just a pain to watch because they're so long. And I'm never motivated to do them. But it is the beginning of the month here. So we will probably be getting into Sherlock Season 4 very soon. And also, it's the last one. I'll be free after this. Barbarian/Weapons was interesting. I kind of had a hunch that Elite might go the other way, which was I liked Weapons and didn't really like Barbarian that much, and he didn't like Weapons that much, but liked Barbarian a lot. That was interesting. I really didn't have too much to say on either of them, though. So that was another, like, I don't know, with Ritual and Love and Pop, it was like, oh, there's like a million things to talk about. This is like a very interesting, like, piece. Whereas I guess both these movies are all 4 of the movies we discussed are very straightforward. There's not like a lot to think about, I guess. Though people seem to think a lot about this Barbarian movie. Alita was trolling me with some DMs earlier today about TikTok comments about this movie. I don't know, I guess Love and Pop and Ritual were full of things like that. And then like Honora was just great because I guess it's just great when you have a 5 out of 5 and then there's absolute tension on whether or not Elite will like it and like the discussion we can have therefore. Because both you're excited to find out what they think and you're also excited to say all the things that you've thought about it, which is probably a lot if it's a 5 out of 5. So yeah, it's really interesting. Anyway, discussions, they can't all be winners, but these ones are fine. The Claymore discussion is similar to the Steins Gate one, where it felt like, oh, we're commenting on plot. And I have a feeling that's what they're going to be for the foreseeable future. So, I don't know. Claymore, I'm definitely more excited because I do like Claymore more than most of those things. Though I like Steins Gate a lot too. Who knows? Steins Gate, the movie, will be interesting, though, because I don't really remember what it's about, and I have no idea what Bacon's going to think. And Zero is more interesting, too, because it's like, what do we think about this? This is more potentially contentious. Whereas me and Bacon basically agreed on everything in Steins Gate all the way through. Did I read all of this one? Yes, we did. All right. Streams. 5 streams happened in August. That's 2 less than last month. We reacted to some videos, a Shapes video even, but not the ones we'd been promising to react to. His new Pokemon video, of course. And Jarky Bacon was on stream at some point. True, there was a whole half a stream where Bacon showed up and yapped. So that was exciting. We liked that. Other than that, streams weren't too eventful. I think we reacted to a Mother's Basement video or something. Streams, they're maintaining. They sure are streams. We sure did abandon that Nuzlocke. It was a little boring, even for me, so there we go. In terms of media consumption, 6 things were consumed and listed in the month of September. Steins Gate, Superman, Fantastic Four, Barbarian Weapons, and The Maltese Falcon, which was a recent one. It's the only one that I haven't really talked about in detail, in a discussion, really. The Maltese Falcon was pretty good. It was a little old detective story. The plot was pretty complicated. There were some funny characters. It's interesting seeing, that time period depicted. I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. Now, this is kind of disingenuous because I played 20 hours of Crash Nitro Fueled this month also, and like 10 hours of Pokemon ZA. So, a lot of things here aren't listed. I'm definitely going to change this next year, I think, because basically I haven't listed Clair Obscure, and I haven't listed not Millennium Falcon, Maltese Falcon. I'm talking about Nitro Fueled here. Because I want to get the Platinum trophies on them. And then I will put them on the media checklist. Or if I fail to do it, I should just put them on the. I should probably just put them both on the media checklist now. Going forward, I think I will just put games on there when I hit the credits, and I think completing it will be a different media thread next year. Like I'll have a platinum media thread or something. Because it's not really representative. And what is the media checklist for if not to like have a timeline of when you were doing things? Like I was actively playing Clair Obscure like 2 months ago, but it's not going to be on there until like December. So it's like off in that sense. I don't know. But yeah, next year I'll definitely do like a platinum trophy media list. I think I should just not do that yearly. I should just put all the platinums I have and keep adding to them. I think that would be interesting. An ongoing forever thread. But anyway, ongoing consumptions. Oh, well, Leader is doing his classic bit here this evening. Can you believe it? A little sound for everybody. There'll be another one soon, I'm sure. Ongoing consumption. Apparently, we only did 2 episodes of Sherlock because I looked back on last week's month's PowerPoint rather, and I already had watched one of the Sherlock episodes, so that's very disappointing. Doesn't make our numbers look too good. I read a decent number of chapters of Claymore. Probably like 60 or something. I just couldn't be bothered to go back and count it. A big one. I've read 2 chapters of Attack on Titan. I was doing that for a few days. We'll see about that. That's to farm videos, potentially. I think when I started, I was like, okay, I'll read Attack on Titan before the end of the year. Reread it. That'll be great. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, though. We did a few hours of Pokemon Y. That might even be an over-exaggeration because I have kind of abandoned it. A few hours of Clair Obscure. That's probably true. Probably like 2 or 3. I've kind of put it on the back burner. 20 hours of Crash Nitro Fueled. That's what it says on the PlayStation clock. Probably about 10 hours of Pokemon ZA. It's about like 12, I think. And an unquantifiable number of Sopranos episodes. It does suck because I started The Sopranos Season 2, Episode 3 or 4 or something. We cannot put The Sopranos on the media checklist even when I finish it. I did just finish Season 5 last night, though. So I only have like 21 episodes left and 1 season left. But it's actually like 2 seasons, you know. It's a whole thing. My favorite things consumed in August were Steins Gate, and by August, of course, I mean October, September. True, I didn't change the dates for the months for either of these. This should say October up here, and this should also say October. So that's funny. But was Steins Gate and Weapons, I guess. Nothing really, like Weapons is maybe a 4.5 out of 5. It's probably a 4 out of 5. But it's better than Barbarian, and Barbarian's got a 4 out of 5 right now, so, you know, it's a little tricky. And Steins Gate is definitely a 9 out of 10. So Steins Gate is the overall winner, but none of them really blew me away, and Steins Gate was a rewatch, so maybe in, what do you call it? November, we'll encounter a great 5-star thing. We've done a few this year. I have started to manufacture our ranking video for the end of the year, of which, because you see, if you hadn't noticed, I forgot to do a 3rd quarter ranking of all the things I've consumed this year, just because I forgot, not even out of laziness. So I will be doing one at the end of the year, but I'll restructure it to get rid of basically all the replays, rewatches, all the rees. Especially that dumb bitch's movie, if you know what I'm saying. If you smell what I'm cooking. So we'll just be ranking the things we consumed for the first time this year. And there's been 5 stars. Chunking Express was this year. That's a 5-star. Honora was this year. That's a 5-star. Ritual was this year. That's a 5-star. Which of them is the best? You know, that's going to take some deep contemplation. But yeah, you know what else is funny is that, like, The Force Awakens doesn't count anymore. And that feels like something that should count. Because it is like, I feel like I did watch it for the first time this year, even though that's literally not true. Anyway, media consumption. This was our plan for October. Let's see how we did. I think I'll almost certainly finish Clair Obscure this month and get the Platinum, and hopefully with Crash Nitro Fueled too. Oh, that didn't happen. We played like 2 hours of Clair Obscur. We got bored with that shit real quick. We're playing kart races now. Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Y has to be done before because ZA comes out in the middle of the month also. That didn't happen. So hopefully Y and Clair Obscur are done before that release date. Not even done at the end of the month, bucko. Because I'll want to play and beat that game quickly. I just started ZA, haven't not even finished Y, which is interesting because ZA, like the Legends Arceus game, was like a big love letter to like the Sinnoh games. This ZA game seems to be completely ignoring everything about Pokemon X and Y. There's like some light references, and Lysandre just showed up at the part I'm up to. Other than that, AZ is in it, and Floette. Those are like the only reoccurring characters. Sycamore isn't even in the game. So I don't know, yeah, it doesn't feel like it gives a fuck about X and Y or the characters in it or the region, especially because obviously it's all set in one city, and the city that doesn't look like it did in the original games, and yeah, it's kind of funny. This game was obviously made because they wanted Mega Evolution back, but anyway. So I'm not really missing out on much. I do immediately recognize the theme every time it plays, and it plays a lot because, again, we're only in one city, so that's pretty cool. It is a good theme for shitty Lumio City. And though, honestly, I'm not the most hyped on it, I was saying about ZA, that was true. I wasn't, like, immediately... I think I bought the game and didn't play it until, like, the next day, but the game is really fun. Probably not as fun as Legends Arceus or Scarlet and Violet, but it's an okay game, this old ZA. I'm playing it, and I'm never feeling like it's a burden. Steins Gate, Sherlock Season 3, and the next Claymore part should all be done. Hey, we did those, isn't that great? We'll see if Evangelion gets off the ground, maybe David Lynch movie duo, and Hollow Knight. Well, we got rid of Hollow Knight, that's not even on my thingy anymore, I played 22 minutes of that. Didn't hook me. Maybe I'll play it at some point. Evangelion certainly has been on the back burner. And old David Lynch movie duo didn't happen, but 2 other ones did. Yippee! The Zach Kreger one happened. How cool. Other than that, I want to clean up the other stuff. None of this happened. City Animation, Apocalypse Hotel, Lotus War, Zombie 100, Heavenly Delusion, Catch Up would be fun, Fujimoto one-shots, the Romanos, Silly Books, etc., etc. Lol. Now we have our consumption plan for November moving forward. This is not very detailed because nothing's really set in stone. Working towards our Platinum Trophies in Nitro Field and Expedition 33. We're not going to make any promises here today, but we're going to work towards them. Man, I've started playing, because you have to play Nitro Field all the way through on hard, and boy, I can't even beat the first level, so I'm not as good as I thought about this fucking kart racer game, and it's going to take some fucking hard work, I think, to beat it, so we'll have to see. And Expedition 33, it's always fun when I play it, but I'm like so out of it, and I don't play for like weeks that it's probably not good, but we have to do it. Hopefully getting through these Pokemon games, Y and ZA. I'm pretty confident ZA will be done by the end of next month just because I'm pretty consistently playing that game, and it can't be that long. I could just mainline it. There's no platinum trophies on a fucking shitty Nintendo game, so we can put this one on as soon as we hit credits. That'll be good. Hooey. Sherlock Season 4 will probably be a thing at the beginning of the month. The Steins Gate movie is next to that. We'll definitely do the movie this month. We'll have to see if we get further than that into Steins Gate 0. That's kind of exciting, though. I haven't really thought about it too much, but, thinking about it right now is exciting, so maybe I'll start to push Jockey Bacon to get some of this Steins Gate stuff moving. Claymore will hopefully be finished up, might move into the anime after that. I don't know if I've even pitched Mia on this yet, but I will at least watch the Claymore anime, I think. After we finish the manga, I'll see if we make it another part of our little discussion here. And hopefully all of that will be done before the end of the year. The anime probably won't be done before the end of November, though. But we're planning on hopefully having the manga done. I want to start the Ghost in the Shell manga and watch Monsters University, Lamau. True, I do want to do both these things. We watched Monsters Inc. earlier in the year. I want to rewatch Monsters University. That one was pretty fun too, I think. And the Ghost in the Shell manga, there's a new Ghost in the Shell anime coming out based off the original manga. And I want to watch that. So I want to read the manga first, and that's coming out in like January of next year, so we better hop to it. This manga is like literally 12 chapters long or something, apparently, so it should be easy to get through. But what if the chapters are really long? Then I'd be really sad. They're probably pretty long. You'd have to imagine they're at least monthly. They're from like the 80s, though, so who knows what the manga was like back then. I don't think I've ever read an 80s manga. Berserk is technically an 80s manga, huh? I've read older and newer, but Specifically 80s stuff? I don't think so. There's also Ball X Pit and Blueprints. These are 2 video games I'm very interested in playing. Ball X Pit has been getting some traction recently. I think it's just Ball Pit. It's like doing the Hunter Hunter thing for some reason. Blueprints is obviously going to win Game of the Year, so I want to be in on that discourse when that happens. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, and Evangelion and Naruto are on the horizon. If we do finish up Sherlock at the beginning of the month, like in the first 10 days, how hard can we push to do Naruto before the end of the month? Oh my goodness, we only have to watch like 17 episodes or something. Probably not, but with the future, with making Elite RE do it on the horizon, you know, we can just reach for the stars. It's from Toy Story. We don't like Toy Story. We like Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. Anyway, if the cleanup is to be real, then it must start now. It's true, we've only got 2 months left. And I have gone through my old Excel spreadsheet. I'm sure anybody that watches the streams is very familiar with. It's usually what's on the screen most of the time. And I've cleaned it up a bunch. I've gotten rid of a bunch of things. Of the things that I'm pretty certain we won't be doing this month, this year rather. And I put them onto next year's one that I'm building. Along with all the fun things I have planned for next year, like the God of War franchise and replaying Uncharted and all these other things. So the ones that I've left, I really do want to knock off. Lotus War, Apocalypse Hotel City, the animation. These are all like 12-episode anime. This is very doable. Will I actually do them? Of course not. The Romanoffs, I've got 3 episodes left. They're all little movies. We should be able to do it before the end of the month. The Fujimoto one-shots, we got to do that because the anime is coming out soon. And I want both of them on the Great Media checklist, so hopefully we can get through that. There are other things, like even something like Heart of Darkness, the book. Like, that's a short book. I could definitely do that. Another book on top of that probably isn't going to happen. But the other thing is I should probably read that first Duncan Egg story, which is, what, like 90 pages or something, before that season comes out. And I'm pretty sure that season is coming out in, what, January or February? The other thing is also Fallout, which is apparently the season 2 of that is coming out in January. I mean, Elite might do that. But that could be a December thing, I'm not sure. Actually, I think it might start coming out in December. I can't remember entirely. But all these things are sort of, let's start building towards them, I think. Anyway, checking in with our goals. 50,000 subscribers. It's probably not going to happen, fellas. That's very sad. We didn't even make it out of the 10s. But we've made some videos, so it's not all defeated. And speaking of videos, 13 out of 12. That's 1 goal achieved this year. Is everybody very excited and happy? My goodness. Are we still recording? Oh my god, we've kept up. We haven't run out of space yet. This is great. That's 1 goal achieved this year. Everybody's very excited, though I want 12 main channel videos this year, which means we're 3 away. I think that's true. Because I think we've made 3 scripted footy NT videos this year. So, the Denji video and 2 others got to come out before the end of the year to get 12 on the main channel. That's so exciting. Oh, yeah. I think we can do that. I'm hoping we can do that. But at least in some avenue, we achieved 1 goal. Better ideas? Leave me alone, I say. Legacy videos? The Sopranos is pretty cool. It's not technically part of this legacy videos thing, though. But that Denji video kind of is / isn't, so maybe. A more focused directed on Footy NT, one of the best performing videos of the year came out this month, so my goodness, what an achievement on that front. Though, again, we haven't really ever given that channel repeated, authentic focus. So I guess we're just a big fat failure. Anyway, isn't that spectacular? We've done our reflecting, and now we must go out and do. Oh my goodness, what a great call to action. We're all so excited for the month to come ahead. In my head, because I've been thinking about things in terms of, like, looking towards next year, the year is kind of over in my head, even though we've still got 2 months to go. So that's kind of a good headspace to be in. Like, I'm taking for granted that this year is already done, but it's not yet. So we still have some things to achieve. So that's exciting. That'll put me in a positive mind frame. Anyway, that's it, everybody. You're excused. We got a great Denji preview today. Everybody's very excited. But we'll see you back next month and on Secondary NT for all your Chainsaw Man content or something. Maybe that'll be on Kylie and T, you know? We saw that video preview. Anyway, support links in the description below. Thanks.